we moved into town in 1979, I decided to come up and stand on the hill here at St. James Church and watch the race. And watch the elite runners come in, watch the serious local runners that I knew come in, and the costumes and the people just having a good time. And I said, this is ridiculous. I've got to come and start running this the next year. So I started training the next day in a pair of old Converse, running around the block. The running shoes have gotten a lot more expensive, but this will be my 45th consecutive Manchester road race. For me, it's training hard in the fall for this specific race. And at 73, you know, you need those kind of challenges. And every year's a challenge, and every year I get slower, but you know, it's good to focus on. I mean, I'm in good shape all year. I run every day, but this is sort of an extra boost. And this target gives me that push. In the fall, I run the course every Sunday just to test my fitness for the race and to try and conquer the hill. The hill always wins. So it's a very interesting course, and along the way, of course, thousands of people. My brother and his wife wait on Highland Street, but I often don't see them because right there I'm just looking straight ahead. But when I turn on the straightaway on Porter Street, my wife and my daughter and my two grandkids, Josephine and Vinny, are waiting there at Pitkin Street. I got to get over the right side, high-five all of them, and that for me is a real boost for the last mile and a half of the race. So yeah, and you know, there are bands. I always see the folks at the Devaney's house. They give me a big cheer. You know, and it's the number 2 rated race in New England and in the top 50 in the country, which is entirely remarkable considering its beginnings. It's amazing, and you know, I'll be running, coming around the corner, and I'll see my wife's cousin who's younger than me, but I got to beat him, you know. I don't say hi to him, I pass him, and at the end I say, great race. The biggest moment, and I watched your videos, was when the national anthem stopped. I mean, I was here for that, and you know, it's on YouTube, and every time I watch it, you can't say better what the community at the Manchester Road Race is than that.
My name is Father Matthew Collins, and I am a native of Bristol, Connecticut, but as a priest I am here assigned to St. Teresa of Calcutta in Manchester. So the Manchester Road Race, I began to run it with my father back when I was in high school, believe it or not, back between 2008 and 2012, and that's when I got into cross country, and my father, who really helped me to get into running, asked me if I would run this race with him one of these days, and so I did. What brings me back here is the people. The people really give a lot of energy and focus into wanting to celebrate Thanksgiving, and when you have the entire town of Manchester and people from all over the country and all over the world coming to run this race, it really helps to inspire a lot of individuals to want to get out there and to run, because you have people cheering for everybody running, whether or not they're good runners or not so good runners, whether they're walkers or not. People are still cheering you on just so that way you can complete this race. I think one of the most meaningful spots is actually at the beginning of the race, where we're all in the crowd together, and you're bumping into a number of different people who you don't really meet, and you're just shaking their hand and just saying good luck and have fun and everything like that. Where am I in the field? Usually I'm back with the general crowd, all the way in the back. I'm not seated or anything like that. This year I kind of seated myself just to see where my time would be, but I'm using this as a race for fun. I'm not trying to be competitive with it or anything like that. And for me, I have a plan to try to beat my own times, but at the same time, if I don't, it doesn't bother me, because especially with a race like this, with so many people, you're just supposed to get out and have fun. I would say do it. Again, whether or not you're a good runner or a not so good runner, whether you're fast, whether you're medium, whether you're slow, doesn't really matter. It's an opportunity for you to see what potential you have and to give thanks to God for the gift of your own body, the temple, and as well as just to be with other people in the world. And I pray that it's a great day. Again, God has given us the gift of our own bodies, given us a wonderful and beautiful sport where we can exercise and give glory to Him. And I just want to thank God for the gift of being able to run this race and for meeting so many different friends, because that's what this entire event is for, is just to meet so many different people and just to come out and enjoy and have a good time with them.
It's the best race of the year. It's the best day of the year in Manchester. Because, first of all, the Manchester Road Race is a huge fundraiser for the town of Manchester, which I think is super important. And secondly, it is one of the funnest races I've ever done. It has everything from Olympic racers to people running in Christmas trees. And along the way for me, through the years, it's been a whole group of different people at different spots. And every year, you know, it's families that grow, families that, you know, years ago it was just the kids that my kids went to school with their kids. Now they're standing there with their own kids, their own spouses. If you really want to run it, you know, competitively, you get a seat and you get in front of, you know, the people who are just running it just to run Christmas trees and turkey outfits and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I run it back in the days where it was the chutes and they'd have to move everyone, and that was unbelievably done. And now it's even smoother. I mean, it's the most well-run race that I've run in. You know, this year is particularly important because I was diagnosed with breast cancer early on. I wasn't sure, like, am I going to be able to do this? My daughter and I made a pact. We set some goals, and her goal was to do the Boston Marathon for Dana-Farber, where I'm being treated and my daughter-in-law is being treated. And my goal was, like, you know, going through cancer treatment's not easy, but I was like, my goal is to do the Manchester Road Race this year again. I've always done it. I want to continue to do it. So it's just a great, great race. You know, when you get diagnosed with cancer, it's obviously overwhelming. So what I did is I set little goals through my chemotherapy, through surgery, and then moving forward. And each goal was, when I was first diagnosed, was just to walk a mile every day, and then to walk a little bit more, maybe try and run. And so, like I said, when my daughter and I put the pack together, we're like, there'd be days like, I don't really want to know if I want to run. And she'd be like, we're running. So she would be running up in Boston, and I'm, you know, running here. It's been important because that's something that I did every year as a tradition. So for me this year, I didn't want the cancer to stop that. One of my favorite memories of the road race, they were doing the national anthem, and the national anthem went out, and 10,000 runners clicked in like that and all picked up on the anthem, and it was just unbelievable.
I went to a race in West Cork, Clonakilty Marathon. I did a half marathon, and the guy down there gave a talk. His name was Amby Burfoot. And I said, this kind of unusual name. He was an American. And so I Googled up on him, and I said, this guy's got a bit of history. And then I read about the race that he'd done about 40, 50 times at that stage, maybe. And then I realized John Tracy, who was in our own club, who won silver medal in the Olympics back in the day. And he had won the race between himself and Eamon Coughlin. They won it 7 times. So right. I met him. We run a race in Dungarvan called the John Tracy. I'm in the West Warwick Club, by the way. And I met him at the race, and I said, there's this race out in Manchester. Oh, yeah, he said, yeah. He was full of praise for the race. And then I said, look, at the end, I had to go. So I went the first time, and I couldn't believe the welcome I got. And then COVID came, and I said, look, I'll go back again. And I couldn't believe it was better 2 years ago again, and oh yeah, like, it's a race, it's worth doing. It's worth doing because you can enjoy it. It's worth doing because it's such a high profile race, but it's worth doing because the people who run the race do good things.
The unofficial count, I think, is 33 times, but my first time was in the early 80s, and then I had a bunch of years with little boys and whatnot where I didn't run. I look at it as a sporting event where you can be part of the event. Unlike going to a football game or even golf, you're not out there playing with the pros, whereas at this, you've got Olympians who are doing the race. You're in the race with those Olympians. You might not be anywhere near them, but you're in the same race with them, competing. And hey, if you've got it to do it, then get up there with them, right? If you think about it, it's Thanksgiving Day, right? So what do people do on Thanksgiving Day? They go home, they get together with family. And that's part of also what makes it as great as it is, because people who don't necessarily spend a lot of time during the course of the year, they may have traveled back to Manchester and they're out here doing this. It's tradition. They're with relatives who they don't spend a lot of time with. And so it's a combination of that as well, where you've got just people getting together who don't spend all that much time together, and here it is on Thanksgiving Day and they do this event. When you turn onto Main Street, that's a special spot. You look down Main Street, you can see in the distance the finish line. You've got the American flag hanging there. You got everybody standing there, and not that there weren't people cheering all along the way, but it's just, I don't know, there's something about turning onto Main Street that's probably my favorite part, not the least of which is because I'm almost done. But that's when, whatever you've got left for me, that's when I'm gonna just pour it all out there. For anybody who hasn't done it before, who thinks, well, it's a race, I've done races, it's really not like any other race. It really isn't. I mean, I've done a lot of races over the years, and this one, it's special. There's something special about it that makes you want to keep coming back. That's why so many people, I think, sign up for and run this race, or stand on the sides and cheer. It's something about it that makes it different from any other race.
1990 was my first year. Tradition is number one, but I've always enjoyed coming back from the competitive side. You get to race the best runners in the world. From the course side, it's first get down Main Street. I know that's a quick turn to the left there, and that's it's basically an all-out sprint. So things to kind of settle down when you make that first left. And then it just comes at that point, it's like, get up the hill. I know that's still another 1.5 miles or even further, but it's like get to the top of the hill as fast as you can, and knowing that you're going to have a nice downhill. For me, I always feel I can kind of hold on to my pace the last 1.5 miles when it starts to flatten out, and then the downhill finish. Highland Park Market is an area where it's a good hill to that, and there's a good crowd. But after that, there's a little steep section that so you're not done with the hill there. You still got that little steep incline that's only a couple hundred meters, and that's when it's really burning there. And to get over that top, it's real steep until there's a school on the right, and it's a few minutes down the hill, and it's going to be a fast drop those first few minutes to the school. Growing up in Lebanon, we used to come over with my father. It was great to see his top runners, Mark Carroll, coming in. I remember Amy Rudolph winning all those times, and you get the best runners from around the globe coming. There's been Olympic champions, world record holders. And that's exciting. It's like when the Travelers Golf Tournament comes to town, or we're not far from the Boston Red Sox or New York Mets, or it's a professional event, but different than those sports is, you don't get to play golf at the Travelers. If you go here, you get to start and run the same race as the professional runners and that's rare, and it's a great day for all that come out. I always have some competitive goals, and they've changed throughout the years. In 2000, for example, first time I ran 24 minutes. Now 24 years later, being a little older, I have a goal of also running 24 minutes. I think that'd be a good to kind of do kind of a cool thing to do.
I've run it 31 times. I've been on the general committee for over 10 years, and I've been on the executive board for 4 years. Oh, this is the best race, not just in Connecticut, this is the best race in America. It's the first race I ever ran. I was disappointed with every other race I've run since. I hope it will be the last race I ever run. It means that much to me. I find it a little bit overwhelming. I love when we all turn and look up and look at the flag and sing the national anthem. And the year we all sang it together when the sound system went out was the best thing ever. But I have to tell you, I'm a really fairly small person. I can't see the flag. I can't see anything. It's like I'm in a little valley of people. Everyone's bigger than I am. And then we turn around and the gun goes off and we all start running, and I still can't see. I cannot see anything except the person directly in front of me, and I hope that they know what they're doing. I think it's that everyone loves it. I mean, we work on it. It's something from our heart. I'm the only member of the executive board who races that day. 2 other members do the virtual race because they're too busy that day. But we all love it, whether it's because they've been working on it for so many years, or their family comes home to run it, or they used to run it and now they work on it. To us, this is what Manchester's all about, and it means so it's not just putting on a race and having the runners enjoy it and giving money to charity. For us, it's an act of love. I've run the race, with a 5-year-old. I've run the race racing it, so I feel differently about different spots. But as a race director of other races and as a local coach for so many years of high school kids, I know an awful lot of people, and people stand in the exact same place year after year after year, and I go from one to the next. I'm especially when I'm racing, I'm thinking, because it's hard to keep up that level of effort, but I think, okay, I just saw so-and-so, and in the next 200 meters, I'm going to see this one, and this one's yelling for Danny, and this one's yelling for Mrs. Kennedy, and this one's yelling for Coach, and I don't make eye contact, but I can tell from the voice and what they called me, probably who that was. And I run the whole race from person to person to person, and all of them make me run better than I would have if I didn't know they were there cheering for me.